Hello people, this is Sonali, the Melodramatic Bookworm. If you've been here before, welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to the Melodramatic Bookworm family. Also welcome to my August 2024 reading wrap-up. I read 12 books in August, and even though I did read quite a decent number, it just feels like August is such a hazy month for me because I was sick on and off and there was so much I wanted to do. I don't even know what I ended up doing, those kind of things, because in the haziness of the sickness, the brain doesn't work like you want it to work. But we returned from our India visit in early August, and the first book that I read for August was in India, and that book is The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie, and this is the second in the Miss Marple series, and I really enjoyed reading this book because it's classic Agatha Christie, where a body is found in the library of a respectable man and everybody is shocked. So now they have to find out what is going on, like the classic Whodunnit. It was short, it was fast-paced, it was classic Christie and etc, 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 but it wasn't like the level of Christie that I absolutely love, like Roger Ackroyd or Orient Express level. Next was a book that I started in June, I think, and I finished it in August. I thought I'll read it during the trip, on the flight, etc, etc, but things happened and I couldn't. But once we returned here, I sat down and I finished it, and what a decision it was. And that book is Bahut Dur Kitna Dur Hota Hai by Manav Kaul, and this is a travelogue where the author Manav Kaul, he takes us through countries and cities and villages and mountains in Europe. He eats croissants and he has coffees, and he writes as he does all of this, and he's talking to his friends, he meets up with his friends. There's a lot of socializing and there's a lot of solitary rambles among nature going on over here, and it just makes you feel so full because him describing all of this, it feels like you are transported to Europe, to those confines, to those mountains. You feel like you are walking down those hills, you are walking down those roads, you are sitting in that little French cafe and having coffee. And oh my god, what a book this is. It's great. This was my first Manav Kaul, by the way, and I'm sure that I'm going to read more of his works. If you read in Hindi, this is one book that you should definitely pick up. It's amazing. Next is a book that I started on the flight back, and that was Can't Spell Treason Without T, the first in the Tomes and Tea series by Rebecca Thorne. And this is about a palace guard, a queen's guard, and the love of her life, Chianti. Now at one point, Reina has had enough, and her and Chianti, they run away to a small town where they open up a bookshop, which is also a tea house. And oh my god, this Cosy Fantasy it just feels so nice and so warm, and you just want to keep reading. The sequel to this is also out, and I will be reading it very soon. I have the copy. Thank you, Pan Macmillan Australia, once again. But if you're looking for a cozy fantasy like Legends and Lattes or Bookshops and Bone Dust, then this is one that you should definitely pick up. It's so warm and nice, and it talks about found family, and it talks about sapphic love, and it talks about bookshops and handling bookshops, the inventory of them, like different kinds of teas, how to steep them. Next was The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is about Clementine West, who has just lost her aunt a few months ago. That said aunt has left her house. So now Clementine West has moved into her aunt's house, which is now her house. Now this apartment has secrets, okay? So now on one day when Clementine has had a bad day of sorts, she comes back to the apartment to find a man standing over there. She gets to know him, and he seems to be the perfect guy, but he's not really living in the present. He is from 7 years ago. Now what is going on? How is this house's secret going to affect Clementine's life? And this was a great read. I mean, it makes you feel all those feelings, like you are rooting for them, but you're also like, they need to get their act together, but they're also like, I mean, that is what it means to be a human being, isn't it? And there's this whole, hamster wheel that you get on, and it just keeps going in your head. But the thing about this book is that once I finished reading it, I wanted to write. It's been a while since I've written anything, except for captions and blog posts and etc. I haven't written much, but I actually wanted to pick up my pen, like figuratively, and I wanted to start writing a story. I wanted to start working on my manuscript, that half-finished manuscript, and for that I'll always be grateful to this book. This is not the best out there, and it has its issues, but it is a feel-good, warm, lovely story, so you could give this a go. Next is White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky, and see, this is such a widely loved short story. Like in this copy there are two stories actually. One is White Nights, one is Bobok, and I liked Bobok, but I have my reservations about White Nights because this is set during a time long ago in which a lonely man is ambling through the streets of Petersburg, and he is, by definition, he's lonely, and he comes upon a girl and they sit down and start talking. And the thing about this is that this guy comes off as so creepy, and this whole interaction is like, you've met like 5 minutes ago, what are you talking about? But there's a lot of points about solitude and loneliness and living in a big city that will kind of sort of redeem the book for you. But there's also the fact that it feels a tad bit misogynistic, in the sense that the author did this thing where women are heartbreakers, they do this kind of thing, and the character in here, Nastenka, is probably that sort of character. Probably she isn't, but there's also a lot of friend zoning, which I do not like the word, but it's just icky to read it at this point in time. But I also see the beauty. So that is the kind of battle that was going on in my mind when I was reading this book, that there are some sections that are so beautiful and some sections that are so creepy. How do these two come together? Next was Stone Yard Devotional by Charlotte Wood. I actually wanted to do a video for the Booker Longlist, like I did for the International Booker Prize this year. But one of those books hasn't released yet, so I was like, there's no point, because September 16th is going to see the announcement of the shortlist. So once I finish reading this, I put a hold on that project, so I'll be doing only the shortlist. This is about a woman who is not that religious, but she goes back to the place where she grew up or something, and then she goes and starts living in the monastery over there. How she comes to terms with her not so religious thinking with the religious ways of the monastery. It's also about hope and love and forgiveness. These are written like diary entries, and it is obvious once you get through a few pages that you have to put the sense of the expectation of having a fully flowing story aside before you go ahead and read this book. There are pockets in this book where you will like it. There are pockets where you will be like, huh, what is going on? But overall the effect is very good. Like, it is intense, it makes you think, it makes you wonder, and it will take you out of your own mind, and it will make you look at your own life as well as that of others with a different perspective. So this is one that I will definitely recommend, but maybe not wholeheartedly. Next was the Buzzwordathon pick for August 2024. Wait, there were two books in my August wrap up which were for previous Buzzwordathon picks. बहुत दूर कितना दूर होता है was for June, and White Nights was for July. Now the pick for August was As You Like It by William Shakespeare, and the prompt for this was to read a book with the word like in the title. I had this on my TBR, so I read it. I listened to the audiobook as well. I don't even remember where I listened to it. Was it LibriVox? Anyway, Shakespeare's writing is something that you need to be fully present to grasp what he's saying. But this one was really fun, especially because I had the audiobook with me. Basically, As You Like It is about two cousins, three brothers, a duke who is being banished, and they all go to live in the forest, and describing Shakespeare's place are as good as telling you the whole story. So this is a comedy which is really fun and which is really nice. Next was a NetGalley arc, which was Textbook Romance by Kristen Bailey, and this is about a woman who is attending the wedding of her friends. There she meets a young man, they hit it off, they're talking as friends. But there she finds out that her husband is cheating on her and she is broken and everything. This young man drops her off, and that's that. Now 4 months later, she has kicked Brian out of the house, and now she is the place where she is working at, she is a teacher there. This young man who was there, he comes to work there. So now here they hit it off again, and this time things go to a next level. But she is just getting out of a long marriage and her kids are now teenagers, so they need her attention, etc, etc. How will she manage this whole thing is what this book is about. And as against what the title suggests, it is not a textbook romance. It is just very sweet. It's not that steamy. It's not like Icebreaker or Wildfire kind of steamy. It is very nice. It is very sweet. It makes you think about what people's priorities in life should be. I really liked it. I enjoyed it, and I'm really glad that I got to read this love story. Next was an audiobook that I listened to on Libro FM. Thank you, Libro FM, for the old arc, which I only got to now. And that book is The Switch by Beth O'Leary. And this is the story of two Eileen Cottons. One is the granddaughter who calls herself Lena Cotton, and the second is her grandmother, her maternal grandmother, who is Eileen Cotton. Now Eileen lives in a village and Lena lives in London. And after the death of her sister, of Lena's sister, she has been all over the place. So her boss tells her that, look, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm forcing you to take a sabbatical. It will be a paid sabbatical, etc. So now Lena is like, no, I can't take a sabbatical. How is this? It almost feels like you're firing me. I can't, my brain won't take all of this, etc. But she is forced to go on that sabbatical, so she goes. Now they have the idea where Lena and Eileen switch places. Eileen wants something new. She wants a new experience of sorts, so she comes to live in London while Lena goes to live in a village. Now how these two acclimate to their surroundings and what developments happen in their lives, in their love lives, how Lena's relationship with her mother has changed, how her anger comes to the surface, how they all handle these whole feelings, is what this book is about. And I really enjoyed this one, and it was even better on audio because there were two narrators, one for Lena and one for Eileen. Lena was, I think, played by Daisy Edgar Jones, I'm not sure. It is fun. It is a typical Beth O'Leary rom-com, and I really enjoyed it. It was honestly one of the best books I've read in August. Next was Knife, Meditations After an Attempted Murder by Salman Rushdie, and this was one of my most anticipated books of 2024, and I finally got to it. And this is Salman Rushdie's own thoughts about what happened just before, during and after the murder attempt that happened to him in New York. This is such a well-written memoir. I mean, it's Salman Rushdie, and there is so much rawness to the way he talks about life, his love for life, his love for his wife, his family, his friends, and there's so much to admire in this book because the strength that it takes to revisit these kind of things. And he connects this back to the fatwa that was issued after the release of Satanic Verses, and it feels like it comes from a full circle, but it's not exactly that, as he says here. So his own way of dealing with the aftermath and dealing with his feelings about this attempted murder. He uses humor to temper the descriptions of what happened to him, what went through his mind, and everything else. Next was Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I've done a full vlog for this book. It was a subscriber pick for the month of June, which went up a few days ago. If you'd like to go check that out, link will be here as well as in the description box below. But Giovanni's Room is about David, who has proposed marriage to Hela, but she is now gone to Spain. And when she is in Spain, he ends up meeting and living with an Italian barman called Giovanni. This is all taking place in Paris, and how their affair reaches to that point and how they have to handle the aftermath of it all, because now Hela is returning and David is all in this confused state of mind, is what this is all about. Plus it is also about society, societal expectations, the circles in which they moved around. Oh my god, what a book this is. That's all I'm going to say about Giovanni's Room. If you haven't read this already, please do read it. Beautiful writing, heartbreaking, brilliant, just simply brilliant. However, David and Giovanni can get really sexist and misogynistic, and that was one thing that I did not like about this book. Otherwise, this is fabulous writing. Last but not the least was The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley, another of my most anticipated books of 2024, but it did not work for me. This is like all of Lucy Foley's other works, and in this we follow Francesca Meadows, who is the owner of a wellness retreat, and now there are people, there are guests, there are staff and everything, and now on this opening night everything is going fine at first, but then something happens. There's a fire erupting somewhere, someone from the past is now on, but things come to a head when a body is found on the beach. And what exactly is going on, and how is Francesca going to take all of this? But that's not the point. There's a lot to the story that I did not like. I will be coming up with a rapid review of this book very soon, so stay tuned for that. But in a nutshell, this is a book that did not work for me. The mystery thrill element was very haphazardly dealt with. The writing was clunky, and it was just not well executed. It was too draggy, too stretchy, and I was like, so those plus the ebooks mentioned were the books that I read in August 2024. Which of these books have you read? Which ones do you want to read? What books did you read in August 2024? Did you find any favorites? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please like it and share it to spread the word. And if you like my content and would like to see more from me, don't forget to hit subscribe and click on the bell icon beside the subscribe button to get notified as and when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and add melodrama to your life.